Hi, long time no video, been like 2 days. We're going to talk real quick about the importance of decent parts. Probably be a pretty short video. I got this Honda in the shop. I have a fair amount of Hondas that come in. Just prop up this phone real quick. Anyways, it's a 400 Honda. It's got a number of things wrong with it, mostly spark, and it's not CDI, it's not it seems to be anything super common. I've traced it down to the regulator. The machine had at one point in time backfired jump time, pretty impressive on one of those, and I fired it back up and it's better, but it's not after I fixed timing, and some of you saw that. Well, we're going to talk now about the other thing wrong with this machine. I ordered a new regulator. So you can see the inside of this particular regulator is potted. See that shiny black stuff? It's sort of like wax. It's plastic. They used to actually pot things in wax, but then they figured out they were getting hot and water intrusion. Water intrusion is a big deal because this mounts with the plug up. So this is the good part. This is the replacement part, and I use a lot of aftermarket parts on stuff because OEM parts are kind of slow to get here and they're just silly expensive, and I work on a lot of older machines. Now, this is the plug off the other one. Those black marks will show the heat that it has undergone, and then the broken piece here where it had corroded. This is the piece which, as you can see, is partially potted, but where voltage and enters and signal exits, it's not. As you look down in there, you can start to see things like how loose that is. That one's loose. That one's, yeah, that was pretty good. That one's looser than what I thought. Loose connections create heat. Heat just absorbs energy, or heat is energy. It's energy that's it's got some sort of high resistance, and it's created heat. As you can see right there, it's got a lot of black marks and a lot of heat has been applied to it. I looked over the plug itself, that the male side of it that goes in, it's not messed up at all. Plug looks fine. I'm going to clean it off. I'm going to put some dielectric grease in it. But when I pulled this off, you kind of see how it's pushed. One side that's a little higher than the other. See how it's pushed out at the bottom? So that's where the water collected and then froze and pushed. You can see on the edge how it's real flat, and the back's, and it actually froze at one point in time, it looks like, and pushed that bottom plate out. So that's great on electronics. Electronics love water. So we'll take the pocket knife here and see if we can open that. Or, you know, slip my hand open, which I haven't done yet, but I may. Yeah. This isn't going to come open easy. I was hoping to just fall off, but this is a fire hazard. A big time fire hazard. In fact, at some point in time, had it not started running weird, it would have caught fire, and it is actually the source of the backfiring, which caused the machine to jump time, which is why it's here. And you can see these things. This plug shouldn't have come out. It just slid right off because it's been hot, and you can see these are just falling off. And as you look at them, you can see the heat that's been around them. You see, if you look real close, you can see how dark that metal is, how dark gray it is. And this should be relatively shiny if it's a new brake, but if it's an older crack that's gotten water or something in it, it's become contaminated, and that creates more heat. So that's it, guys. When you buy your electrical parts, even if you buy aftermarket, I buy a lot of aftermarket stuff. Got certain sources I use, which are better than others. But just a rant. If you don't want your machine to catch fire, backfire, act stupid, when you replace parts, buy a decent part. These things are really cheap. You can buy a model similar to this one, which I wish I could get. I'm going to try and get a good camera angle in there. Hold on to your socks here. Okay, well, flash isn't going to work today, but there. Ooh, boy, howdy, that looks good, don't it? That looks like something you'd put on a machine that's worth several $1,000s. So, buy decent parts. It's a tech tip. All these parts are made pretty much in Asia, which is fine. Especially if it's Japanese, they make mighty fine parts. Their culture, the Japanese culture, if it's a decent part, does not allow them to make like the workmen's themselves. They take a lot of pride, and I don't necessarily agree with everything about what they've done, like their religions and stuff, but it's because I was a Christian pastor, and that's just one of them deals. But their culture, and my understanding is they believe that if you're a janitor and you're the absolute best janitor that you can be, just fantastic janitor, you'll either be rewarded for that and moved up to a higher paying, better job, or in your next life, you will come back as maybe like a level or 3 above, depending on how good you did. And if you did really crappy, maybe next time either you don't have a job or you're not a janitor, you're just a plumber, and all you do is deal with crap, and it's a worse job. Excuse me. So, without getting too much into the rest of it, buy good parts. Thank you for watching, and I would show you how to replace this, but it's just a clip and 2 bolts, which it's a metal casing, so you almost can't over torque this particular piece. But anyways, that's it. And I'll put some dielectric grease in there and kind of help with water intrusion, and double check the plug for any corrosion, and watch our next videos. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to this channel.